Well, Volker is the Chief Executive of the Payments Association of South Africa. He's in studio with us as well to discuss new negotiated rules for debit orders. Has this got anything to do with what's happened in the mining sector, where we have garnishy orders, etc., that some people have had illegally deducted from their pay?
Alec, yes, definitely. There's been extensive abuse of the debit order system for quite some time. It's because it is such a good system. It works extremely well, very efficient, very low cost. We're doing about 45 million transactions a month, 80 billion rands. So it's very logical to try and get onto that bandwagon. Unfortunately, the abuse is also taking place.
How bad is the abuse?
The abuse at this stage statistically doesn't seem so big. It's about 0.6% of transactions that get disputed.
Yeah, but
so
you've got a huge number of transactions,
yeah,
so 30 million a month.
So in terms of actual numbers, it's 200,000 that are.
That's my point.
Yes.
So 200,000 are abusive.
Yeah.
Work that out at a few thousand rand a month, and people are being rolled over badly.
No, I agree.
How do you fix it?
I think just very quickly, one of the other problems that some consumers also abuse it because it's so easy to dispute. So we don't know what percentage is real fraud versus how much is consumer abuse. So we've put in a whole lot of measures, but I think one of the big things that we're busy with right now is a so-called authenticated collections project, which is to try and achieve electronic authentication of a debit order before you actually lodge the thing. And it's something like getting a prompt on your cell phone where you have to enter a PIN or one-time password or something like that to verify that you're happy with the amount.
Every month?
You can do an agreement for, let's say, 6 months if you want to, but in that period, obviously, if you're not happy, you can inform your bank still that you're not happy with it.
But Walter, isn't this bringing another unintended consequence where people run out of money at the end of the month and I'll just stop my debit order?
We will obviously have a cut-off date, so you won't be able to just at the moment, you can just walk in a day after the debit order run, say I dispute this, and you get your money back within the same day. What we'll have in future is obviously if you've done an electronic authentication, there'll be a cut-off so that you can't just walk in the last minute. You'll have to contact the company. If there's a valid debit order, you'll have to contact the company and they'll have to agree to the reversal of the transaction. So it won't be as easy because you've in fact got an electronic authentication. It's almost similar to a debit card or credit card mandate that you've given us.
You've been working on this. I was looking through before we came on air. In May last year, you had other improvements to the system. How far are you away from maybe something that's perfect?
What we have done in the meantime is also just developed what we call a debit order abuse list. So companies that abuse a system that go beyond certain ratios, we've put them on this list, and eventually we take them out of the system. So if it's proven that they've abused the system, we exit them, and we've removed more than 100 companies already, and that's a constant process, obviously. What we also will do going forward is not allow consumers to just reverse immediately. We'll give them a 7-day window. That's the plan.
But surely you should also be talking to the companies and make sure that they can't just stick consumers onto the system.
Absolutely. So ultimately the banks are the gatekeepers. So each bank has to make sure that the company that they allow on board is okay. So we're also dealing with the companies.
And what is our rights as consumers against those banks that allow fraudulent companies?
At the moment, a consumer has got 100% right. Any debit order that you find on your bank statement that you have not authorized, you can reverse. You go to your own bank and dispute it, then it's the proof, the burden of proof is with the beneficiary party. They have to prove the mandate, the signed mandate at the moment. It's just very inefficient. As I said, 200,000 transactions a month is a big burden of inefficiency to deal with. But at least the consumer is protected. Going forward, we want to automate the whole system with a more electronic
when might that come in?
Look, I must say we're running behind schedule. We were planning on doing it in June this year. But the systems that we have to put in place are quite big. We've already got a card-based system, so today you can swipe your card and you can get that authorized.
If June's not going to happen, when?
So we're looking at early next year. I don't have a firm date yet, but we're looking at sort of this time next year, a little bit later.
That was Volker, who's the Chief Executive of the Payments Association of South Africa.